This is a challenging reading today. Of course it is. It's about being in community. Whenever two or more people are together, there most likely will be differences and disputes. In this reading, Jesus is saying, take the time to work it out for the well-being of your relationship and for the well-being of the community. In my sermon the other week, I spoke about how we often operate from ourself, our ego. We forget that God and Jesus will be in the midst of us if we take a moment to remember. Often when we are disgruntled about something, we talk about it. We complain about it. We seek to get others on our side. We talk about instead of talking with. And it creates division. When I was in Girl Scouts, we went to camp. My best friend and I picked out top bunks right next to each other. We shared what we had brought and we told each other how much money we had and where we put it and how we were going to spend it. We were so looking forward to going to the canteen to buy candy. Then over the course of a couple days, she stopped talking to me. I noticed she was talking to everyone else. I could see the sideways glances towards me. Then outside the mess tent, it all came to a head. She showed up with her gathered constituency and accused me of stealing a dime of her money. It had to be me because I was the only one who knew where she kept her money. I was shocked, then hurt, then mad. I fired back. Remember when we went to the canteen? You bought a candy bar that cost a dime. I didn't steal your money. I thought you were my friend. Why didn't you ask me? Why did you tell everyone else? It was a tension that everyone felt. She remembered, and I am grateful. She acknowledged it and apologized in that moment. It was hard. It was embarrassing. But in the end, it brought the troop back together. And we all learned a lesson of how easily distrust can destroy community. And often, distrust can center around money. Jesus encourages us to talk to one another, to try to work through differences, concerns, hurts, missteps. Living in Christian community is challenging. It takes effort, humility, and accountability. And often it takes moving out of one's own comfort zone. Another story. Joe was in my 8th grade algebra class. He was deaf. Joe relied on reading lips to understand what was being said by the teacher. It wasn't until years later that I understood just what intense concentration it takes to read lips and take in the information. So Joe would often miss things or not understand. It wasn't because he was stupid. As a result, the teacher discounted his abilities. That is, until the day Joe stood up and spoke up for himself. And several of the other guys stood up with him. It was a moment of friends standing alongside a disempowered person. The teacher sent them all to the principal's office. Mr. Jackson listened to Joe's story, then to the teacher's story. He was gifted in listening and helping to find a way forward to resolve tension. Today we would say he had a gift of mediation. He was a peacemaker, a community builder. He was known for lifting up the lowly, protecting the vulnerable, listening for truth, and bringing about a resolution. I don't remember the teacher's name. I just remember that it was a struggle for her to listen to Joe, whose speech was distorted through his inability to hear. You had to listen very carefully to hear Joe and to understand what he was saying. In this reading, Jesus speaks about talking to one another and a lot about listening. Listening through tension, listening through challenge. Oftentimes, our mode of operating takes us to that place of when we don't understand, we become critical of, judgmental. Or sometimes we're a person who has put on the rose-colored glasses and is never going to take them off. But to truly be in community, we need to find that place to rise up into a place of constructive criticism, of truly listening to one another, of being in relationship, not sugarcoating it and not tearing it down. Often we do not realize the harm we cause. What begins as ripples of something said or done grow into tidal waves, causing great harm. It is hard to listen to how one's words or actions have harmed others, both individuals and groups of people. It takes fortitude, vulnerability, and humility to listen another person into wholeness, and a willingness to be moved beyond one's position and self. Listening another person into wholeness is an art. It is a gift of grace, an act of God. For Jesus says, again, I truly tell you, if two of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them.